Welcome back to Foundry. My name is Nilaus, and this is the final episode of our Let's Play for the update 2. As you can see, things have changed a lot, and this episode will basically be a showcase of how I feel I broke the game in terms of how to structure things in a, well, surprise, surprise, city block oriented modular way, and that's how we build things, and it's working insanely amazing. You can see in top right hand corner we're making 26 million per day, which is a pretty decent amount, and I could keep scaling this if I wanted to, and there is nothing about this that is hitting any kind of bottlenecks. So this is pretty cool, except for the time that I have to spend on it, of course. That's the only bottleneck we're actually hitting. So what we're looking at here is the module for drone production. You can see they have combat drones, maintenance drones, science drones, planter drones, mining drones, transport drones. So all the drones have one line each, and we'll be going through each of the builds in here and just talk a little bit about sort of the limitations, how it works, why it works, and also how this interacts with the trading parts. We'll also be going through that. Let's start with the basic of how this design is actually working. So basically what I do is, let's say this one, the drones, I am going to make a drone here. I think this is okay. We're making a drone. By the way, before we go in, if you want to grab hold of this save and just have a look at it yourself, this is available to Patreon supporters, so thank you everyone who's supporting on Patreon, and you get to play along in this save if you want to. Right, so we want to make transport drones. Drones require some items plus hover engines. So basically I need to bring thermalite in, I need to bring polymer, and I need to bring circuits, and then I have to make this. So basically what I've done is I am set this up so I make 300 per minute, and that was just the number that I felt makes sense. And then I also, is it 300? I think it's 300 per minute. And then I also make the hover engines over here, and I've decided that I want to make the hover engines for each of them instead of having one gigantic factory that has to feed all of them. So they each have their own production of the hover engine, and I think that works better because otherwise you get into a lot of problems with belt constraints and throughput constraints in these locations. So basically we have 1, 2, 3 items coming in and becoming the hover engines. Then the hover engines goes in and then merges in with the other things, and you can also see this one is the thermalite sheets, and the thermalite sheets we just find the nearest place where we can go down, and then we have a look at what it looks down here underneath, because we have many of these locations underneath. So downstairs we have just these lines. It's very, very simple how it works. We just bring it in into many of these locations. This is actually a rather small one, which might actually be too small, but I'm also just saying that if we just go anywhere around here, we'll see that there are more locations. This hole underneath is actually just filled with this with these locations. Here for the heavy transport bots are also requiring, because the bots are not requiring as much of the thermalite as the other things. So yeah, you have this, and each of these are just chugging along their own little factory. Unfortunately, we can't really terraform much down here, but we can take this elevator back up, I hope. We looked at the transport drones. Now we're over here by the bot factory, and it is, surprise, surprise, exactly the same. We are getting stuff in here, and this is the heavy transport bots. Heavy duty transport bots gets thermalites, gets components, advanced machinery parts, and steel going in here, and then just feeding into 2 different locations. And it's really important that this is 2. It might actually need to be 3, because you can see here this just left and the box is still full. This is one of my big gripes with this game as it is right now. There we go. See here, this is a big ship coming in. This is the biggest ship we can, and now it's loading. It's not even loading at the speed of the belt. So how can you have this nicely wrapped up into boxes? Just put those boxes into the ship. Why does it take so long to load the ship? Ship loading should be pretty close to instant. It should definitely not be slower than a tier 3 belt to load a ship, which means you need many parallel ones to actually load and unload, and that's a problem. I think it's a weird choice, because this is such a cool idea that they are actually containerized everything. And when you containerize things, you're literally just taking these boxes and putting them in here, and then flying off. So that's something they definitely should be, or make it an upgrade, like faster loading time or something like this. But it it means that you actually need to have, this is the biggest bottleneck of the factory, is the loading of spaceships, which I really don't think it should be. Here as well, this one, you can see this is now already filling up, and the next one will be filling up before the next ship comes in. See, even though this one's coming in, it can just barely get it in, and as soon as it comes in, then you can see that it's starting to load, but it's loading, it's just barely not stalling this one. So this is kind of something we have an issue with, that even though we are producing robots, we're not actually necessarily able to get them to orbit fast enough. We might need a third one here, but then we run into other bottlenecks. But this is something that I just don't understand why they're so slow. This one here is a really good example. Which one's that? Snackbot. Okay, this is just because snackbots are probably not demanded as much. So that is all the bots here, all the drones over there, and here we have some robots. The 5 different robots they have in production line each, and this is actually right now our main bottleneck, and the reason why we are capped on money is because we need more robots. And what I've done is each of these lines can consume 32 per minute, so I have designed each of the factories making robot parts towards exactly 32 per minute. And yeah, this is one of those things where I could probably make it bigger. Well, I should make it bigger so that I could have multiple lines for robots, but this is a non-trivial size factory because there's also, each of them require robot parts. So this is basically, if I wanted to scale up something, then it would definitely be this part. So here I have, this is combat robot, so it's combat robot torso, arms, legs, and head. And you can see they're pretty much all working, so it is consuming it at the right rate. This one also has the same issue, that it's very hard to load them fast enough. So you kind of need, for each assembly line, two different two loaders or two ships, landing pads. Yes. And then we have the bus. This is our original bus, and I think it works wonderful because it's super easy to make. It works all the way up to us sort of scaling it out into this city block based modular view, and it works fine. Here's a small factory for each of the robot, or each of the drones and bots, and it works just fine. But I have disconnected them now because at this point the throughput is, all of it has to go into the robot production. And then we can say the bus here is making science, but we don't have any more science to make. We can make it into sort of the production, the hub. That's fine, but we're not really making much anymore. And then everything else just goes into the robot production. The big part of the robot production is that every single robot part requires one robot, or everything robot piece thing requires one robot part. So for example, each robot will require one here and one there and 2 + 2, so it's 6 items. That means each robot requires 6 robot parts, and I want to make 32, so that's of times 5, so 32 times 5 times 6 parts. That's a lot. That was good calculations, right? And that means this factory you see over here is just making robot parts, and it's quite sizable. So all of this is just, it's a little bit scuffed, but that's because I built it and I realized I need to double it, and I realized I need to double it again. So we have 2 locations come in with Thermalite that goes downstairs here and comes in, as you can see here, comes in as one full line, which is always flowing of Thermalite bars running all the way through here. That is good. And then we also have the other ingredients. That's the circuits, which is used in higher quantities, so that's hard to get, and the polymer sheets here, and advanced material parts, and then that's the second one. And then I decided, you know what, this one, it's just not making it fast enough. This is only making like 300, and I needed more like 600. So I built the other one here, which is actually now stalling. So we do have enough robot parts for now, and this is also going in and coming back here as Thermalite sheets. So lots and lots of underground places here, and this is where we need to go. So that is our factory. If we go over here to the other part, if we look at the map view, then once I started doing the heavy or the medium power poles and making it into a grid, my god, was that just so much easier. Like, it was, I mean, maybe it's just me, but having this grid and then knowing that you can build within it was actually really nice. Because once you start building within a grid base, then these giant platforms, they are really annoying. But now they're not really annoying, because you just know that one city block here, row, is just entirely into that. And then the city block row next to it is for your factory. And this is all the factory we have. Like this factory, and this is probably what I should say, but you can kind of see it here. We are not mining anything. We are not processing anything. We are just bringing things in. Anything we can bring in, we are bringing in from orbit. And that's the next thing we want to take a look at, is what is happening in orbit. And because that's a big part of the game here. So we are now on our station. It is very much developed. You can see 500 construction drones. If we look at station upgrades, then everything is like really high level. Ship hangar 34, cargo base also level 41. That's a really important one. Cargo base is much more important than it seems. Thermalights, we haven't really done that very much. Antennas, communication, market office, like everything that we can, we are buying here. And all the stuff here, if I wanted to buy some coke ignium, then I'd have to build a factory. Ew, a factory game? Ew. That's not what we do. So this is the spaceship fully developed. And let's look at our galaxy map. So things are not going so well anymore because I overextended. But you can see the purple one is obviously our color. And now the enemies are kind of starting to conquer something back, because I've overreached. I've tapped more locations than I can feed, which is obviously not sort of strategically smart, but I wanted to just get all the stuff out and sell it. And now I can see, for example, maybe this is a good example. Yeah, you can see here, they are conquering it back from us, which is bad. So we're kind of losing a lot of it because we're not able to get market dominance in all the zones that we have. So this is something that you can definitely optimize by sort of only going out and only finding the stuff that you want to do. But I just wanted sort of everything, and then got greedy, and you know what happens then. Let's look at the various things. I said that I was bringing things in, so hold on here. This is all the ships that are currently flying in and out, buying stuff, selling stuff. Well, not selling, we're not selling stuff, we're just buying here. Just buying all of the stuff here. And I'm basically saying everything here, or most things here, are going up to 50,000. And this is why the storage is so important. The cargo bay storage is so important, because by default, the size of a spaceship, or the capacity of a spaceship, is larger than the capacity of a space platform, which makes no sense at all. So you need to get lots and lots of these upgrades, because you want to make sure that you can have multiple ships out here. These ships take 6 minutes for a round trip, and once you are sort of bringing in 1,666 machinery parts, it takes 6 minutes for them to get there. So you want to make sure that you have enough ships out and about so that you can have the constant flow in the base. And that requires that you can, in this case, for example, with circuit boards, we can actually have 10 ships flying out with for circuit boards, which means that they can come back. If you only had like 5,000 capacity, then you could send one ship out, and if you're empty, then you'd have to wait for that one ship to come back. Right now, circuits, it's dipping down to 30,000, but there are probably also lots of circuit boards here. Circuit boards already en route, and that should mean that we have all the circuit boards we need. I can go into my ships, and if we look at the number of ships I have, we have 275 ships. And if we just set this onto market order, it actually goes in immediately. So we might want to get a few more for this, just to... There. Let's just get one more. And these are going to go into market order. Let's see if we are actually shortage on market order. You can see that this flips to a grayed out. That means they're actually going out on market orders. So they're not. So that's fine. Maybe it's because I used 2 tier 2 ships. No, some of them were. Okay, so we do have enough for the market orders. That's always important. Make sure that you have enough of that. So the galactic market, this is why we buy everything. And it is, then you're thinking like, well, is that profitable? And then yes, it very much is. Let's look at the accounting history. For the previous day, that was a good day, but we're down to about 26 million. So 26 million, we spent 5 million on resources, and then we sell for 26 million. That's a pretty good deal. We of course paid our taxes. We don't have any external storage for our thermalite, And then spaceship fuel. This is such a small amount. This is such an insignificant amount that I don't really bother with doing any kind of factory for it. So I would say that if you want refueling to be a thing that you want to make a factory for, it has to be a more significant number. Considering I have 275 ships and I only pay less than 1,000 thermalite per day for each ship, that's completely trivial. So ship refueling is irrelevant at this point. Market spend, we still make a good deal of cash. And then, also here on financing, let's look at competitors, where we are. This is on the market dominance. We're up to 14,000. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ahead of us. Oh, this is on the weekly earnings. Okay, well, weekly earnings is the one that is easiest to get up there. If you look at market dominance, and we're a little bit further down. But we're at 14,000. We could definitely move up. I don't know if we can get to 45, but there is also the argument that once you start taking, you also take them away from the other competitors. So if you want to sort of look for these specific companies and go straight for them instead, that's also an option. Like I want to get the top of the leaderboard, but there's also a matter of timing here. On the commerce, we can go through each of these, but I think we want to go into what's really important to get going is the research lab. This lab here is the R&D lab. Just once you have paid your debt, there's nothing else to do, so you just buy this part here. This means that your experience per product produced increases. You can see I'm up to level 121, that's a lot, and then once in a while you just go in here. What I do is, first I do the product weight, because that means we can transport more. That's 4 upgrades. Then I get the product quality up to 100%, so that we get twice the price. And then we get, afterwards, I spend the rest into product efficiency, so that we get free products. That seems to be the best one. I think it makes sense, because plus two extra product. It does, however, mean that it's also more difficult to actually have the spaceships keep up, but that's a thing. And we just have to go through this one once in a while, go through each and every one, and just do this once in a while. And in the beginning, this is a little bit annoying, but it's also one of those things where, it feels good. Like, this is only 6%, so this is the personal assistant robot. We're not producing them as much, even though I also have the bonus there, but it doesn't really make enough of a difference. And there, and combat as well. Combat is really low level here. See, that's the first efficiency we get on the combat robot, while some of them are up to level 70. Anything higher than level 70? No. Level 69, nice. But that's the highest one. We have one transport bot here at level 70, which means we're up to 90% product efficiency. We get lots of extra. On the sales platform, this is also a good way to just keep track of which ones are actually stuck. And here you can see most of them are actually, everything we have is going to be sold. I have set up a condition here so that I don't want to sell them on the sales platform unless I have 1,000 already stored, because I want to sell them to the sales routes on the Galaxy map instead, because it's more profitable. So farming bots, I can't get rid of this, so I've lowered the price. Vacuum bots, so anything I'm full storage on, and then anything I'm low storage, I just set it up to a higher price. So these ones I just want to get rid of. I don't want to set them down to that price because it's not really profitable, I think. But you can see here, most of the things I cannot keep in storage. This one's screen bot is just barely keeping in storage. And snack bots, we have too many snack bots. So ideally now I'd want to find some place that has snack bots and maintenance drones, light drones, the cleaning and vacuum. Like, that would be excellent, and maybe also some farmers. But those locations don't really exist, and not sort of for selection that easily. Out here, when we take a new location, and let's see, this one, is this taken? Yes, it is, but we are not winning this. And the reason why we're not winning it, if you look at it, is because we are simply unable to feed it enough of the science robots, and therefore our company is not able to win this system. Winning the system gives us 15% extra pricing, and also gives us the points, the market dominance points. So yeah, I'm really wanting to make additional additional robot lines so we can actually win these. But man, I also got to get into other games. So let's look at, first we're gonna get some spaceships. This one zone has 2, so let's just take these. There we go, there's 2 ships. We go over in here and then we just basically, okay, what if we want to take another zone? We unlock it, and then you can see how much points we can potentially get. This one we don't have enough of, this we don't have enough of, and this we don't have enough of. So obviously this is a bad idea to take this, because I'm just spreading even thinner than I already am, and that's not really a good idea. So here, and this one as well. Mining drones and science robots. Oh, these are literally the worst ones I could have chosen, but fine. I show and this is basically how I do it. I'm sure that you could probably maximize this and go like, okay, well, this, if it wants 240, then let me send 144, because that should be enough to actually get the market dominance, right? This should be enough to then maybe just take 1 tick more than this to get market dominance, and you could do that for every single one, and then you would be able to get more coverage, because right now maybe there are some places that I oversaturate. I don't know. Here, yeah, so this one, the farmer robot, well, farmer robots are fine. Anything with farmer robots is just fine. So yeah, you can optimize this a lot more, but with the scale of things, it's just probably too much work, for at least for me, to go out and micromanage that they only get like slightly more than they need. Yeah, so that is it here. So what do I think about the whole trading thing? I think it's amazing. I think that this thing works really well once you get into it, how to build new recurring orders. The fact that you can actually buy everything. Maybe if they want to continue and like they talk about like the next update is going to be trains, then I'm sorry to say, but that's going to be completely useless. If they don't change something, this is the optimal factory. Like, there's really no reason to go into all of this here, which is fun but also extremely complicated, just to make some xenoferrite plates. Like, fuck it, I'll just buy the xenoferrite plate. They cost nothing. So right now there's a balance, and it's fine that they do that, because they want us to actually explore the trading part of it. But basically all my factories look like this, which can't be what you want if you want to make a factory game. You can't go like, this is exactly the kind of factory we want. Giant logistics inbound and a one straight line in, with just in on one side, out on the other side. But that's just me, just completely ruining the idea of a game. And the thing is, like, I could just, if I want more, I could just double it, and it doesn't take that long. Well, it takes forever to do all these inputs and outputs, but it certainly takes a hell of a lot less time than if I wanted to make a factory that actually made the circuit boards in the quantity I needed in the entire factory. So I don't know why, I don't know how, but if they wanted to be a factory game, then they have to make it less attractive to buy ingredients and just skip that whole part and go straight for the trading. I can understand why they did it this time, because this is about exploring the trading aspects. But for example, over here, I built a little factory earlier game for hover engines, and then I put it into the cargo ships. And do not do that. Cargo ships are absolutely atrocious. They are so ridiculously bad. Do not do it. If you produce something at one place, then the best thing is not actually use cargo bots to move them around, but use the spaceship. So anything you can store up here, you should be using this for storage, because it's much better to send it up to orbit and then down to from orbit again. This is literally the stuff that Factorio had to block by only having one landing pad, because it would be easier to just instead of moving things on the planet, you send it to orbit and drop it down on another place. So I think there's something in terms of the balancing that they have to do. I think it's fine that you can make a profit from buying things and refining them into these things, but maybe it's just maybe too good. I don't know. It's also the fact that when we get the R&D lab here, we can just get 100% sales price, which makes it a lot more profitable. And we can of course just keep going on this one. But I think I would go like 100% productivity, and then go continue to just buy the pricing if that's yeah, sort of moving forward. I do think productivity is going to be better past 200%, but I think it just at some point it'll just give me more money for this, because otherwise you start running into another throughput constraint. But anyway, this is the base, and I'm really proud of it. And it did take a little bit of time, just a little bit of time, to just pave the world and make these giant locations, and also laser everything to actually get. I'm sorry, I'm gonna give you the worst sound. Yeah, I hate that sound. Like, this laser is freaking amazing. I've used it to remove mountains that were in the way, because nothing is allowed to be in the way of my city blocks. So we'll just gladly move these mountains. Well, not gladly, but we will move these mountains if they're in the way for us. Right, so that is going to complete Foundry Update 2 for me. I think this game is super amazing. I think this has so much potential. The graphics are meh, but once you turn it into a large blue plane, then it's super fun. And there's just something about this game where I just want to keep expanding out here, and I'm gonna be like, these damn competitors. I really need to get a little bit. No, let's fall down. Let's fall down with 14,000. No, I gotta get the market dominance. And there's just something about it that for me, I just want to keep going. And that's an amazing design for a game like this. We just need to make sure that it actually stays a factory game, and not sort of become just like import, produce a simple thing, export, because that's what the game is right now. So that's it for the coverage of Foundry 2. I'm of course diving into many other factory games and other games here on the channel, so be sure to subscribe and like and comment. I very much like to hear what you think about Update 2 for Foundry. Like, do you also find that, do you find it fun, or do you find it annoying, interesting, complicated? One of the things for me is that I need a log out here of what is happening. I don't know how, but I also need to know how many licenses I have left, and there's a lot of things that are like really complicated to see. Like, for example, we are seeing now that our money is 26 million. Like, why? Why did it dip? I don't know. It's too complicated to figure out. Like, and yes, I do know that there's something here that you can go into each one and go through it, and it's just really complicated to get an overview of a big base. So some kind of better overview of what is going on, like galactic markets, like getting a sense of, are there unfulfilled requests, so that adding more ships. Also, ships, please let me sort this damn thing. Because right now it's insanely complicated to do this, and it could also be nice to be able to upgrade ships if you want to do that, instead of sort of removing them and building them in again. So there's a lot of things that are just like unpolished, but that's fine. It's just a new addition to the game, and they want to get some experience. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this showcase of the final form of the Foundry base, and I will see you guys in the next episode of whatever game comes next. Until next time, take care and stay effective.